Welcome back to another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions from the latest games releasing. Hi, folks, it's Falcon. I'm not going to mess around. Escape from Duckov. Yep, that's really what we're doing today, and yes, it is called that. Sounds like shovelware junk. Neither did the developer nor the publisher inspire a lot of confidence, so you might be wondering why we're covering it at all. Here's the thing, though. Doesn't look like much, but it's the real deal. The overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam are not meme reviews. Well, most of it's not meme reviews, I should say. Some of it is. But for the most part, the positivity is legit because the game is good. And I don't mean good for a game called Escape from Duckov. It's just plain all-around great. So with a name like that, you might be thinking this is heavily inspired by Escape from Tarkov, the hardcore FPS multiplayer extraction shooter. It's similar, but only really in the most superficial ways. It's not multiplayer. It doesn't even currently have co-op. It's, at least at the moment, purely a single-player experience. It's just one of a growing wave of offline extraction games that have been coming out lately. And while I've actually enjoyed a lot of them, this is definitely the one, the most addictive yet. The gameplay loop is perfectly balancing. It keeps you back. It's immediately just like it hooks you. It's also cheap. It's only $19, and it's well worth the price because there's enough content here to keep you playing for a very long time. I'm talking 60 to 80 hours easily. Basic gameplay loop right out of a standard extraction game, but with the constant progression of a tightly balanced single-player game. You go out into the world, collect resources, and get in intense gunfights with murderous gangs of duck marauders. You try to get back to the base alive, either by simply returning to the entrance or by reaching an extraction beacon. At your base, you can use resources that you've collected to repair and upgrade your weapons, purchase new equipment, build and install new stations, workbenches, gain access to more equipment, features, all to make your life easier. There's also an experience system and other permanent upgrades to improve your stamina, carrying capacity, reload speed, all kinds of stuff that drastically improves your survivability. It looks like a kid's game, but even on standard difficulty, this can be a surprisingly unforgiving game. That part is right out of the original Tarkov, and while this game does simplify the survival aspect significantly, it does give you plenty to worry about. Get lacerated, you will need bandages to stop the bleeding, you need to eat and drink to keep stamina up, you need a helmet to avoid devastating headshot damage, you need a headset in order to more effectively detect enemy movement in the fog of war. There's deadly storms that appear periodically, they'll ruin your day, period, no getting around that. And being out at night can lead to a quick death because enemies are way more numerous at night. Your field of vision is way narrower. It's a serious game. And if the enemies aren't in your field of view, you cannot see them. So they'll use that advantage and get a sneak attack on you. Dying, pretty devastating here as well, as with most extraction games. If you die, all your equipment gets left behind. And if you want to get your precious equipment and loot back, you'll need to get back to your corpse and grab it. If you die along the way, that's it. All that stuff is gone for good. This game tries to soften the blow when you die with a big dead, not a big deal message when you die, but it still stings when you lose a fully kitted out assault rifle and body armor after getting blasted in the back by a shotgun out of nowhere. It's not completely unforgiving, though. They let you modify the difficulty at any time, which includes custom difficulty settings so you can make the game as easy or as hard as you want. And on the default settings, they at least let you keep the totems you have equipped in your money and experience. That always carries over. So once you have things pretty well situated at your base, it's not hard to just buy up some equipment and make up for anything you lose. Here's where I want to really note how these single-player extraction games are turning out differently than the online multiplayer service types. The progression, it's just really satisfying. You're constantly getting new and better weapons. You're unlocking powerful new features like teleporting. That speeds up exploration. Within each zone, there's shortcuts to unlock and keys to discover that open up secret caches of special equipment that encourages you to not just brainlessly loot, but to actually explore. Some shortcuts are simple locked doors that only need to be opened from one side, but others require certain resources like explosives to clear cracked walls, or wood, or metal scrap to rebuild a bridge. Thankfully, all these level alterations are permanent. There are not a lot of individual zones here, and they're not actually all that big in this game's case, but that's actually a good thing here. They're not massive in size, but they're dense and they're fun to explore, so there's a lot of, stuff to do. There's not really downtime, A lot of time extraction games have some serious downtime, and that's not great, in my opinion. but you're pretty much always doing something here, whether it's looting or shooting, and the shooting part is surprisingly good. The feedback on the guns is satisfying. There's a lot of weapons to choose from, and they actually feel different to use and fire. There's a good balance between tactical, careful shooting and full-on chaos. At times, it can feel like a slow, really deliberate tactical shooter, and at other times, it feels like Hotline Miami. You're dodging around like a mad duck, blowing away everything that moves. The lethality of the game can swing both ways. Sometimes you're dominating, sometimes you're instantly devastated by a boss character who's way out of your league. But the game manages to strike a good balance between danger and fun that it's going to keep you coming back if you're anything like me. Let me just go ahead and mention a part. I said Hotline Miami. That is not something you associate with extraction shooters. Usually, these are first or third person follow cam. This is a top-down game. And let me just say, man, it's refreshing. It looks different, feels different, but it weirdly, like, it's nothing like the game, but makes me think of Mario versus Rabbids for whatever reason, in a positive way. Like, it feels fresh in that same way. The level design is very solid. Starts off simple with some woods, occasional enemy camps, one or two bad guys in them, but things escalate to entire complexes full of gun ducks, ready and willing to just blast you into oblivion. It's an impressive escalation that adds to the game's satisfying progression. You're not just getting tougher, but the places you're going are more elaborate and more interesting. From ground zero, you can travel to tougher locations like a warehouse district, a large town with multi-story structures, secrets on top of secrets. The further you go out from your starting base, the tougher it'll get, and therefore the tougher it is to get your stuff back when you die, especially when you're entering these places for the first time. You'll eventually get the ability to activate a beacon that allow you to freely teleport to a zone, but the game doesn't make it too easy on you because every time you teleport, you end up in a random spot on the map. Still much easier to get back to the more far-off zones, so the risk it's generally worth it, I'd say. It's stuff like that that keeps you on your toes, though. A lot of risk in progression, but they give you just enough to help you out so it doesn't feel like a slog in any way. I don't feel frustrated by this game. Even when I die, it sucks a lot, but it's not the end of the world, and you can always come back from it. And it goes without saying, you've been looking at footage, but you do actually play as a duck in this game. Everything is a duck, except when it's a dog. But yeah, it's mostly a duck. You even get to customize your duck at the start. There's a story where, I guess it's more just a set of goals, apparently on a space colony or something. It's fallen into ruins. You got to build a spaceship to escape. That's the end goal. Get the parts to fix up a ship and extract from the game. There aren't characters or plot, really. It's a series of quests that are mostly anonymous, given to you in a sequence as to guide you through the game. In practice, it's how a lot of survival games work, but in this game, it's less flavorful with the dialogue and quest descriptions. Honestly, kind of works in the game's favor, though, because they keep your objectives simple and clear. Transition, from my experience, has been solid, keeps you doing the stuff that you want without slowing things down. I don't want to call it arcade-ish, but I would say it leans towards that in terms of story. An arcade game doesn't need a lot of story. It needs good mechanics that keep you playing, and that's what you got here. I just hesitate to call it arcade-ish because it's honestly got a lot of depth and a lot of content, and good content that will keep you playing. The individual details of the game are borderline baffling, I might say, too. Just strange as hell. I mean, I don't know what we're doing with the cartoon ducks and the realistic military equipment. The guns they're not even fake, jokey versions of actual guns. They're the real guns. You get AK-47s, MP7s, etc. And, there's enough gun porn here to make Hideo Kojima blush. Is it a Strand-type game? I'm not so sure, but there's guns. Oh, there's guns. I don't know. It's a really bizarre juxtaposition, though, between the cartoon duck characters and the deadly gameplay and real-world weapons, so maybe, I don't know, maybe that's enough. It doesn't need to be a Strand-type game. He'd be interested anyway. I would say that you should probably be able to infer this, but it's got an unusual sense of humor. It's not really trying to be wacky, but there's an undercurrent of goofiness to the whole thing that really works. The game is mostly kind of playing it straight, but the fact that you're ducks, it's funny. It's the right choice. It's the right way to do this type of thing. It's not in your face. It's not expecting you to gut laugh all the time. It's more like you're going to get little chuckles, smiles here and there. And that works. That's exactly what it should do because the game itself is great. Mostly a chill atmosphere mixed with danger, and that kind of merits a level of humor that this delivers on. Another thing I have to give it credit for is the translation. Very solid. It's one of those games where you'd expect some random Chinese characters mixed in with some really broken English, but there's none of that here. Presentation is clean outside of some awkward text on some slash screens. but it's nitpicky if you're really going to care. All the in-game text and communication from the developers, it's fine. It's another area where the game exceeds expectations, honestly. It feels like it's designed for a simple purpose to be fun, which, man, oh man, is that nice. It takes a lot of design elements from other games and speeds them up, simplifies them in ways that make them less tedious and more engaging. The guys who made this understand game design. Clearly they get it, because Escape from Duckov, despite the memey title and solid but unambitious visual style, it's just really well made. It's a well-designed game. The fundamentals, they're all here, which is good because the game is all about the fundamentals. There's not a lot to hang your hat on otherwise, which is, in this case, good. You're not playing Duckov for its epic story or complex characters or even something like in-depth character building. You're playing it to loot and shoot, unlock upgrades, and get access to better equipment to improve your base. There's so many vectors for improvement. You will have something to do pretty much at any given time, at least at first. The game, I'm not going to lie, does start to feel a little grindy after a while, but for a solid chunk of the experience, it's just pure progress. Even when things do slow down, that's when the game opens up and the exploration element becomes like front and center. And it works. If I have any major complaints about the game, it's just the lack of controller support. And it's not that it's bad, it's that you can't use a controller with the game by default. It's mouse and keyboard only for the moment, which it feels fine. It's well designed, especially once you figure out you could just press tab to close the loot screen instead of escape. But having the option for a controller would be nice, if nothing else. Like, there's no way to play this game on Steam Deck. I mean, there is, but like people who do that, there's something wrong with you. It doesn't work there, okay? The lack of music when you're exploring is a little eerie too. I get why they do it. It's to create tension, the kind of tension Tarkov has, and it makes ambient sounds stand out quite a bit. So if you're listening carefully, you'll know to look around to get the drop on various enemies. But this game, it's also got some charming piano pieces that feel a little reminiscent of Untitled Goose Game. I feel like that was definitely in their brains as they made this game. It would be nice if there was a little bit more of that, though. It would make the quiet exploration moments feel a little less bleak, which I don't know. Maybe you do or don't agree with that. That's a fully subjective one. It's a pretty immaculate game, though, especially for something just came out of nowhere like this. I know we're kind of late to review this. It's been out since the 18th, but it's a fun little game, and I think it deserves extra attention. It's not a flash-in-the-pan viral joke game. This game, it works. It's good. It's far better than the name implies. Escape from Duckov is a very silly name, and while this game is silly on some level, it is just straightforwardly a very good game. The price is right. There's a lot of content. Doesn't overstay its welcome, though. It's an easy recommendation for anyone who wants to play a less punished, more sweaty form of an extraction shooter. I'd also recommend it to survival game fans or even Metroidvania fans to a degree. It cribs on some minor elements from both of those genres with a surprising level of consistency that really works. Escape from Duckov might not have been on your radar before, but let me just say, right now, it should be.